There's a concept in math called local maxima. And what it means is that at the certain curves, they come up like this and they drop, then they go up and then they drop and then they go up and they drop. And you see this pattern with the real estate market, with the stock market and everything. But it's also a life pattern. So you may be on the rise, you get to a peak, and then all of a sudden what happens? Things shift and you drop. Then you come up and things shift and you drop. So if you think of a life circumstance that you've had, that you've done something, maybe you reached some pinnacle or whatever, and then something happened where you had to shift, like something, you could say bad happened, or something happened where you had to make a shift in who you were, the way you saw the world, your thoughts, your beliefs, and it seemed like it was the end of the world at the time. But as you broke down and went through this hard time, but eventually you kind of came back up and you hit another peak. So this is a scientific principle. It's a spiritual principle. It's a law of nature in the world. So for me, for example, what happened was, I've had a lot of these examples, but let's say I was working as a lawyer, right, for another company. Things were going well and I was making good money and things were going well. And I thought, I might be doing this for the next 10, 20 years. And then something happened with the way management started treating its workers, and started treating me, and it kind of shattered everything in the model that was there. And it became very uncomfortable, and I had to basically break through and try something new. And what I did was I started my own law practice, which was scary. It was uncertain. Wasn't sure what was going to happen. And then I went up and I soared. And by having faith, by focusing, by trying to do a good job, I make it to this point, right? And then when you make it here, you get your business systemized, and you're like, okay, what's next for me? And then you have to reshape your world and then kind of come up to this next level. And what happens is, where we are here is not going to get us here. So what happens is the law of nature breaks down our current model, our current worldview, breaks it down so that we can come up and rise to the next level. Where we are here is not going to get us to where we are there. So sometimes we have to shift things to get there. And sometimes what that requires is a breaking of our old model of the world. So what happens is, before this drop, when we hit this drop, it's scary. We don't actually want to do this drop, even though it could lead us to the promised land at an even higher level. We don't want to go through this drop because it's hard, it's scary, it's uncertain. We may be giving up certain lifestyle, certain certainty, financial, job, stability, things like that, relationship, whatever, in order to go to this next bigger, higher thing. But if we instead stop resisting, so instead of clinging to the past and trying to hold on to where it was, if we just go with it and flow with it more and have faith and master our mindset, we can go through this downward curve with a little more elegance and ease rather than resistance, fear, and tyranny, and we can come up to this next level.